Hi everyone, this is Alexander Antsipov from API, and in this video I want to show you how work security in API Express. Let's create test project in API Express with name Secure Project. In order to make API of our project secure, it is required to go on subtab Settings and enable Secure REST API checkbox. API Express provides two types of security: security provider and custom service. Let's start from security provider. Security providers is used when we already have database in API and want to reuse security of API database. Let's create database with name label DB and create collection labels with addition column name. We have to mark this collection as secured. Just press security permission and enable security collection checkbox. And also let's provide default ACL creator. So now, in order to work with collection labels, it is required to authenticate using username and password from collection users. Let's create test user with username Alex and password pass. User is created. Let's go back to API Express and open our secure project. And for testing, let's disable Secure REST API checkbox. Go to API subtab and let's create generated service labels. Select label DB as database connection and let's select collection labels. Press generate service button. So labels service are created. We can test them. Press test button and now let's perform find operation. So as you remember, labels collection are secured collection and we can't perform any operation with that collection without particular authentication header. Right now this header is not provided because our project is unsecured. Press test service button and in our response we see the message that collection is secure and we have to provide session token. Go back to Settings subtab, enable Secure REST API checkbox and select label DB as security provider. Then go back to API subtab and press test again. So now we see session token section on testing page, and in order to get session token we have to provide username and password from collection users. We successfully got session token and now we can perform find operation with this session token. Since label collection is empty, we got empty array. Let's perform create operation. Provide a name for our label, test label, press test service button. So as you can see, label was successfully created. Let's review just created label in label DB collection. Go to database, open label DB, and here we can see that new row appeared in new labels collection and we can check ACL column. So the value of ACL column is Alex. But what to do in case if you want to create a project, secure project in API Express which use, for example, LDAP as authentication provider? For that purposes we can use custom service security type. So now we have to provide the logic of login method manually. Go to API subtab, open system folder. It is a predefined folder which exists in every API Express project, and when we enable custom security provider type, we can edit all these methods. Edit login method, press edit link, remove stub script component and add LDAP component, which will invoke real LDAP server. For that we have to provide host for our LDAP server, user DN, admin password, map username on body username and password on body password, provide base DN, and that's it. Let's test that we provided all information properly. Press generate button and provide username and password. Press run LDAP button. So as you can see, according to our response, everything worked properly. We can press import response and save our login service. Let's close our login service and create custom service with name test. Our test service will do nothing, just return empty object. Let's test it. Press test button. Since our project is secured, our test service also is secured, but now we use custom security and we have to provide username from our LDAP, get session token, and now we can perform our service. So we got 200 success response and empty object in response. But what to do in case if, for example, we already have LDAP server and we want to use API database for storing our data, but to use our LDAP as security provider? For that we can go back on Settings subtab and enable here Save Users into Database. Open API tab and now let's invoke labels servers. So if you remember, our project use LDAP, so we have to provide username and password from our LDAP. And let's create new label, label test2. Press test service button. So label was created. You can ask us how come API Express project use LDAP for authentication, API database uses users collection for authentication, and how we could create new records into API database using LDAP as security provider. Let's go to database and take a look what is going on there. Open LabelDB database. So here we see that new record was created. Let's take a look on ACL column. Here we see the user with name Riemann, but we didn't have such user before. Let's open users collection, and here we also see user with that name. API Express created such user itself and provide some random password, so only API Express can log in into API database using that user. In other words, we have following flow. User log in into API Express and provide username and password from LDAP. API Express log in into API database using only username and then created some data in API database using session token of API database, so all logic according to security, permissions, etc. work properly. That's it. Thanks for your attention.